not beaten back too bad. As usual, when you all call, I try to show up, especially when there's something port related on the agenda. So thank you for having me tonight. I wanted to cover a few misconceptions and some roles and responsibilities and things that are related to port development, just so you all have some peace of mind of what we're doing and what we're not doing, as well as what the town is not doing. I think Scott will cover a lot of that. First of all, a lot of it's surprising after a few years, but a lot of people are still confused of what the port is and where we are. We're called Tulsa Ports, but many of you just know us as Port of Catoosa, and we've been called Tulsa Ports since 2020. I'll go through a little bit of that, but our primary mission is to promote job creation and investment through Northeast Oklahoma and the state through industrial development, waterway development, and transportation development in general. So those are our lanes. Those are the things we stick to. We don't necessarily get involved in a lot of other aspects. Many of you know Port of Catoosa. It's about 4,000 people almost right now. So things are actually doing well. We've been as low as 2,600 and as high as 5,500 people working in the Port of Catoosa. We have about 60 companies. We ship about 2 million tons of barge freight per year. And a lot of rail cars, but 90% of that's agricultural. So we were built on agriculture. We will always be an agricultural entity, helping both fertilizer get in as well as grain get out. So that's one of our primary roles and responsibilities. But the rest of what we do is industrial development related to manufacturing jobs, and you'll see that in the numbers there. The Port of Inola. Many people have asked, well, what's the Port of Inola? Well, you may know it by a different name, which is Black Fox. In 2019, PSO transferred this property to us, and we began development from there. Here's a little timeline. Some of you probably know the history better than I do, and there's probably some parts left out, but from 1973 to 2025, here's where we've been and where we're going. From the nuclear project, canceled in '82, PSO sat on it for over 30 years and didn't really do much with it, other than maybe store some equipment out there and have some ag leases on it. But basically in 2014, they began marketing it for industrial development. That's actually when I became involved. I've been working on this site for almost 12 years. 2017, the property was rezoned heavy industrial. Primarily because during that time you didn't need to rezone for a power plant project. And so it never did actually have any zoning until 2017. 2018, Sofidel broke ground. I was involved in that project as well. 1.8 million square foot facility. One thing that, when PSO transferred this to us in 2019, they did not want to be a developer. They wanted to be a power company, and that's what they're good at. So they wanted an entity that could bring new jobs, new investment, as well as power users into the park, but not worry about roads, water, sewer, gas, all transportation, all the assets that could be brought to bear for this property, but that a power company really shouldn't be doing. In 2020, we renamed it Tulsa Port of Inola. That was an aspirational name. It does not currently have barge transportation going on, but it does have rail. So if you look at going down the list, we did actually rehab the rail that's there to both serve Sofidel as well as future companies inside the park. One quick thing on Sofidel, I think Jolita brought it up. The benefit from Sofidel, yes, it is absolutely delayed. There's no doubt about that. But one thing about this coming year, even though it's still the ad valorem exemption with the state reimbursing to the locals, they will become almost 2/3 of the entire taxable value of the school district. And so the benefit is coming. It has been delayed. So you are.
When will it be coming?
We don't know the dollar amounts yet, but it's approximately 2/3 of the entire valuation of the school district. So there's two ways you can pay for things like schools. You can raise taxes, or you can grow your tax base, and you can do both. But in this case, growing the tax base is easier than raising taxes. but you also have to look at the delayed benefit. So you're absolutely right, it is delayed.
How long?
So the property taxes will start being reimbursed to the locality this year from the state. In 2023, as I mentioned, we opened the Verdigris Southern Railroad. That is the rail going into the port from Union Pacific. In 2023, we also submitted a proposal for a metal manufacturing project. That is as much as we knew about it at the time, because many of these projects come in as not knowing the company, not knowing the full industry, just knowing that they're looking for acreage and utilities, et cetera. And so in 2024, we started construction on the South Inola wastewater treatment facility. That is the $72 million wastewater treatment facility that will be located at the port, but will serve the port and the town. The town is doing a lot of work to turn their existing wastewater treatment facility into a flow equalization basin and take all wastewater down to the new plant. And so that's all funded through federal, state, and port dollars. And then some ARPA dollars were also given to the town to upgrade all their wastewater systems and connect to the new wastewater treatment plant. So we are tied at the hip, or the wastewater in this case. 2024, EGA was revealed to be the company that we submitted on that proposal in 2023. You'll notice that crosses some administration lines. So we did start this during the previous presidential administration and then went over into this one. The final site selection round basically means it's between us and 2 or 3 other sites in the nation. And that's when a lot of the negotiations between local, state, port, all the different entities happens, including the TIF district, as well as the legislation related to the incentives for the project. And then in May 2025, Port of Inola was chosen as the final site, and that was all announced all over the place. So the project has changed a little bit. Even since it was announced, it was originally just EGA doing the project. It's now, they're titling it Oklahoma Primary Aluminum. It's a partnership between EGA and Century Aluminum, an American company. So a primary aluminum production facility is equivalent to a smelter. That is the same terminology. A $4 billion plus direct investment in construction. It's now a 60%, 40% partnership between EGA and Century. One of the primary reasons for that is because we don't have the technology to build a new facility of this type. We may have invented the process, but we have not improved upon it the way that EGA has, and therefore we're using their technology. It's 1,000 direct jobs in the facility, 750,000 tons of annual production of aluminum, and then 1.4 million tons of barge freight. So you heard me mention earlier, it's 2 million tons that we ship at Catoosa today. So this will increase barge tonnage just for the Port Authority by almost 75%. And then industry multiplier, basically there will be downstream customers of this thing. So if you look at wire rod, rolling mills, things that are using that raw aluminum and producing parts and pieces, that is all related to being customers of this facility, which will have to be close by, not directly in the park necessarily, but close by. So you saw probably this week, and maybe some of you haven't, there is a new project website, oklahomaprimary.aluminum.com. I think it was mentioned earlier. But there's also a Facebook page, Oklahoma Primary Aluminum. They've also opened a local project office for EGA and ERM, their environmental consultant, the former co-op building, the upstairs of that building. They will be holding open houses and receiving guests in that building. But I think they're working on their office hours right now. It is set up though. One other thing on the as far as the local office, there will be some meetings set up that are public meetings around what they call their environmental and social impact analysis. So our assessment, you will see those public meetings being announced soon in March. likely the last week in March. So if you want to know exactly when and what time, need you to go and probably watch that Facebook page or like that, or check back the website for those details. So like I said, I want to clear up some misconceptions because this is, not everything in this is my area, but this piece is. If you look at the left, that's the current property in the current state of the Port of Inola. So that blue boundary is the property that the Port Authority owns. The white boundary is what Sofidel owns. So on the right, you see 3 parcels added there, a green, a red, and a yellow. The yellow, which is under construction right now, some of you probably saw some dirt work going on at 4190 and 610, that is a substation for PSO. It is not just for the industrial park, it is not just for this area, it's a regional transmission grid upgrade. So it is for the entire system. We did, since they gave us the property, we did give them some back so they could build upgrades to the entire grid system. The green property is the primary parcel that EGA and Century are purchasing to build the aluminum plant. So the construction of the plant will be on that green parcel. I know there's been some misconceptions about how far away this thing is from certain people in certain areas of town. It is relegated to that green parcel on the bottom there. The red, the secondary parcel, is something they will also be purchasing for fence line or buffer. So it is not their intention to build in the red area. In fact, most of that property isn't developable. There's floodplain and a giant ravine going through there. So while we would love to have more manufacturing in the plant or in the industrial park, that's better served as fence line to make sure that there's a buffer between them and the landowner to the north. And then down there south, you see the wastewater treatment plant and all the multicolors. That's under construction right now. It will be finished in July or August, approximately. Scott's turn.